Greetings, yours truly is Hamid Omar from Hamid and Associates Advocates. Today is the first series explaining about land transaction. So we begin. Kisla is a new employee of the county government. She has had this dream of buying a piece of land since time memorial. 1 year has passed since she became an employee at the county government, and all this time round she has been saving, and by the end of that year she got herself 500,000 as a saving amount. So she saw it fit to say, this amount is right enough for me to ensure to buy a piece of land that is located at the center, that is not so much interior and not so much close to the town. So she checks online. She also inquires from friends, from previous people she knew from her relationships while growing up. And then in one instance, she got an information from a friend of a friend who had a neighbor. And then that neighbor, he had a son. So that son, he had been offered a job to go and work at Dubai, but there was issues about the visa application and also the transport to get him there. So the father called Alire, decided, let me just sell this piece of land, which is 1 acre. So the asking price was at around Kenya shilling 350,000. So Kisla asks for the information to be taken where that piece of land is. So she's taken there. They meet with Alire and they just greet each other. Hi, how are you doing? I am Kisla. I want to buy this piece of land. I had that information from a friend of mine. And then Alire now introduced himself and said, he's the one who is selling that piece of land, and he's selling it at 350,000. So Kisla asks if there is a title deed to that piece of land. Alire says, yes, there is. Are there beacons? Alire answers, no, there are no beacons, but we know from where the land starts and where the lands end. So Kisla, at the end, she did not inquire much, just looked at the land. She was impressed with it. The land had soil which is fertile. Together, added to that equation, there are trees. She saw a pawpaw tree and a mango tree. So she was really excited. She got the nice piece of land and she said, yeah, this is enough. So she asked Alire for a copy of the title deed, which Alire then gave it to her. And then that was the end. So she went back home. So the next day, Kisla went back to where that piece of land was, but on this time round, she went on a tour. So she was in a tour of asking questions related to the land. So she got into asking the neighbors that are around that piece of land, the 1 acre piece of land. She also got to ask the Mzee wa Mtaa, the village headman. She also got hold of the famous drunkard in that village or that town, and also visited the local bar that is there in that town. So in all of them, first she greeted them, good morning, how are you doing? I'm well. Then she asked them, do you know about Alire and the piece of land that he's selling? Then they asked, you're asking a lot of information. So they opened their hands and Kisla decides to give them 500 each for the questions that she asked. So then now they answered, hey, with this, yeah, we have heard about Alire and his issue to sell a piece of land. It's tough times, the economy is just like that, the way it is. So we have heard of his situation. He wants to sponsor his son to go to Dubai for work. So Kisla asks them, are there any issues or dispute to that piece of land, like cases or anything that they know about? Then the second one, she asked, what about when it rains? What happens to that piece of land? Is it drained too much, or does the water stay on that piece of land, or what happens? And then she also asked, is there any dispute between Alire and his wife, or what is the family relationship? Are they in good terms, or what's not happening with them? And then the other one, she asked, are there like boundary dispute to that piece of land, and are there like brokers, like is he the real owner, or are there any other issues that people should know about it? In all those questions she asked, she got the green light, like it was all positive, it was not negative. So she thanked them and she went back home. So an analysis of what this storyline is all about is that from this story, we find a very important thing which is related to buying of land, which is that the one who is buying, in our part here being Kisla, should do an investigation of their own in relation to that piece of land, either to discover if there is any issues or if the property is safe. This is what we call due diligence, or the principle called caveat emptor, which means buyer beware. So in this situation, it involves the buyer asking questions to the neighbors, asking questions to the local famous drunkard, asking questions even to the village headman or the mzee wa mtaa, asking questions to also even visiting the local bar and asking questions to the revelers or the people who are in there and asking questions about them. So this one is very important when obtaining a piece, or if you want to buy a piece of land. So that one has been it. So the next time we'll talk about the next step, which is also due diligence, that involves doing a search. So thank you for your time. Yours truly has been Hamid Omar from Hamid and Associates Advocates. Feel free to ask any questions you have related to this or anything else. Our email is hamidlegal@800 at gmail.com. Thank you.